Imagine waking up tomorrow and the internet never existed. Not that it's down, not that the Wi-Fi is acting up. It was simply never invented. No Google, no YouTube, no Instagram, no TikTok, no online shopping, no group chats blowing up at 1 in the morning because someone can't decide where to eat. Gone. And the strangest part? You wouldn't miss any of it. Because you can't miss something that never existed. Your entire life would have grown around a completely different world. So let's rewind all the way back. You're 5 years old. You wake up on a Saturday morning, eat breakfast as fast as humanly possible, throw on whatever clothes are closest, and run outside before your parents can find chores for you. Your friends aren't online. They're outside too. You don't text anyone asking if they're free. You ride your bike to their house, knock on the front door, and ask their mom if they can come out. Sometimes they're grounded. Sometimes they're already somewhere else. Sometimes you spend the next hour riding around the neighborhood trying to find everyone. And somehow, you always do. The whole neighborhood becomes your playground. The street is your racetrack. The empty lot is a jungle. A pile of sticks becomes swords. A cardboard box becomes a spaceship. When there's nothing to do, your brain doesn't reach for a screen. It invents something. You get bored. Really bored. And that's exactly when your imagination starts working. You memorize your best friend's phone number because if you don't, you simply can't call them. You know every shortcut through your neighborhood without opening a map. You know what time to head home because the streetlights turn on, not because your phone reminds you. Family memories live inside heavy photo albums. You take 24 pictures on vacation and don't know if any of them turned out until weeks later. Birthdays aren't recorded from 12 different angles. They're remembered. Some memories get fuzzy over time, some disappear completely. And maybe that's okay. Because not every moment needs proof that it happened. Then, before you know it, summer ends. School begins. Homework suddenly becomes a completely different challenge. Today, if you don't know something, you search for it in seconds. Back then, you went to the library. Finding information wasn't typing a question into a search bar. It meant walking through rows of shelves, searching a card catalog, finding the right book, hoping someone else hadn't already borrowed it, and flipping through hundreds of pages looking for the one paragraph you actually needed. A science project that takes an hour today could easily take several afternoons. Need information about volcanoes? You'd better hope the encyclopedia volume labeled V is still there. Writing reports means stacks of books spread across a wooden table, loose sheets of handwritten notes, tiny scraps of paper marking important pages, and absolute panic when you realize you forgot to write down where a quote came from. Group projects don't happen in video calls. You call your classmates on a landline. If their parents answer, you politely ask if they're home, if they're eating dinner. You call back later. Teachers become one of your biggest sources of information because answers aren't always a few clicks away, so you pay attention. Libraries aren't quiet because people are studying for aesthetic videos. They're quiet because that's where knowledge lives. And memory matters. You memorize multiplication tables, phone numbers, addresses, directions. Because if you forget them, there isn't a tiny computer in your pocket ready to remember for you. Then one day, school ends, and suddenly there's someone you can't stop thinking about. You see them across the room. Now imagine this without social media. You don't already know their favorite movies. You haven't looked through 5 years of vacation photos. You don't know what they ate yesterday. You don't even know if they're single. There's only one way to find out. You walk over, you introduce yourself. Your heart is pounding so hard you can hear it. Every conversation happens in real time. No deleting messages, no rewriting the perfect reply. No waiting exactly 27 minutes so you don't seem desperate. If you want to ask someone out, you actually ask, face to face. And yes, getting rejected hurts a lot more when there's nowhere to hide behind a screen. Calling someone is its own adventure. You dial their house. Their dad answers. Now you have to explain who you are before you even get to speak with the person you called. Dating moves slower. Not because people cared less. Because there were fewer ways to stay connected. Long-distance relationships become incredibly difficult. Letters take days. Phone calls cost money. Every minute matters. Sometimes people drift apart. Not because they stopped loving each other, because staying connected takes real effort. At the same time, when you're together, you're actually together. Dinner isn't interrupted by notifications. Nobody reaches for a phone every 30 seconds. Conversations last longer. Silence isn't awkward. It's just part of being there. Then graduation arrives. Now it's time to build a life. Finding a job starts with a newspaper. You sit at the kitchen table with a pen, circling listings that seem promising. Then you print your resume. Put on your nicest clothes. Walk into a business, shake someone's hand, and hope they're hiring. You don't apply to 50 jobs before breakfast. Each application takes real effort. Banking means standing in line. Paying bills means mailing checks or visiting payment centers. Need directions? You unfold a paper map that's somehow both too big and impossible to fold back correctly. Get lost? You ask someone. Shopping happens in stores. If something is sold out, you wait. Photos aren't uploaded instantly. Film has to be developed. Sometimes your vacation happened 3 weeks ago before anyone else even sees the pictures. News arrives slower too. You read the morning paper, watch the evening news, or hear it from someone who heard it from someone else. And sometimes, you simply don't know what's happening on the other side of the world. Not because you don't care, because information takes time to travel. Life moves slower. Sometimes frustratingly slow, but slower all the same. And then, years pass. You look back. You probably know fewer people, but you know them better. You have fewer photos, but more memories you actually lived instead of recording. You spend less time comparing your life to strangers, because strangers aren't constantly broadcasting theirs. Your embarrassing teenage phase? It exists only in the memories of people who were actually there. No screenshots, no old tweets, no viral mistakes following you forever. Your hobbies are harder to discover because there aren't millions of people sharing them online. If you love something unusual, you might spend years believing you're the only one. Medical questions become scarier. You can't search your symptoms at 2 a.m. You trust your doctor because there isn't an entire internet offering 12,000 conflicting opinions. Some problems get solved more slowly. Some never get solved at all. That's the trade-off. This world isn't better, and it isn't worse. It's simply different. The internet didn't just change how we communicate. It changed how we learn, how we make friends, how we fall in love, how we work, how we remember, how we spend our free time, even how we think. If it had never existed, you wouldn't spend your day refreshing notifications. You'd probably know every neighbor on your street. You'd have phone numbers memorized instead of saved. You'd have fewer conveniences, but maybe a little more patience, a little more boredom, and maybe a little more time to simply exist. The internet gave us a world that's faster, smarter, and more connected than any generation before us could have imagined. But it also quietly replaced hundreds of little moments that used to make up everyday life. So here's the question. If someone gave you the choice, would you live your entire life in a world without the internet? Or have we already become so connected that we couldn't imagine growing up any other way? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed taking this trip through an alternate version of life, subscribe for the next one.